What's up, guys? So, this is my favorite time of the year where, as a community, we all get together and we start making lists, a lot like Santa Claus, where we start singing praises and finding out what was disappointing, and we make our top 10 list of the year. And I always look forward to these. I like seeing people's opinions and overall what had them most excited for the year in retrospect. So, with my list, the way I break my criteria down is desirability, sculpt, and paint. So what I mean by that is you can have a figure that's released a ton of different times, kind of like Deadpool, but then you have someone like Mayshelf come and do a whole new sculpt to it with paint to it, and I find that I want that figure, so then it becomes desirable, and then it has a higher value to me because when I get it in my hands, it's like, oh wow, this is great. This is something I didn't have before, and then I appreciate it more and I've put it on a higher pedestal in my collection as opposed to some of the other ones. I'll be like, all right, well, I need to keep this figure, and I can sell the other ones because I have something of higher quality. But that's enough of that. That's a whole different conversation. Let's go ahead and get started on this list, guys. All right, figure fam. Check out this lot of characters for 2020 for our top 10 list. These are just honorable mentions because my top 10 is none of these figures. Now, these are some of the great ones. I love the Demogoblin. Super Scroll is great. Venom is in a lot of people's lists. That Dark Beast figure is underrated. I love the Cyborg Superman. But these figures did not make my list. And I'm about to show you the ones that did. Alright, at number 10 we have Sugar Man. Some people may not be familiar with this character, but he comes from an alternate timeline called the Age of Apocalypse, which was a really big deal in the 90s. Dude, this figure is grotesque, and that may explain my love for it. When Age of Apocalypse was announced, a lot of people speculated that either Apocalypse himself, Sabretooth, or Holocaust would have been the Build-A-Figure, but this one took a lot of people by surprise. The sculpt on this figure is insane. With the addition of multiple arms and hands that you can switch around, the finer details like buttons on the suspenders, the hammer, the teeth, the tongue, which is just wicked. A lot of people have taken that out and used it for some Venom mods. Like him or not, this figure sticks out on their shelf for display. Alright guys, at number 9 we have She-Hulk. Now I know people are excited for the green classic She-Hulk we'll be getting next year, which I am too, but personally I love this gray She-Hulk. If you aren't too familiar with it or you haven't read Civil War II, which I highly recommend, that story is so good. She-Hulk gets in a fight with Thanos, and whenever she comes out of her coma, because she lost that battle, she wakes up gray and has all the green scratches, and she's kind of having some issues with herself where she has more rage. The story's pretty good, but to the point, I love the look of this aesthetically. The sculpt on this figure is sensational. The paint is great. She comes with two different hands, which is a pleasant addition for display purposes, but I love the intensity that's captured on the portrait. This puts her at number 9 for me this year. At number 8, we have Warpath. That Omega Reg butt, man. It's so impressive and needs to be the standard for larger scale characters. The sculpt on this figure is uncanny, even with the new details like shoulder pads and tassels that are made from a soft rubber, so that everything is pliable. The addition of feathers in the hair, which I'll show that real quick. That detail is just nice. I appreciate that. It's a solid extra. The only thing that would have made him higher on my list, or I think we would have put him on more of people's list this year if he would have came with his signature knives. Missing that on that really hurt him in a lot of ways. But if you missed out on the Omega Red figure and you don't have this guy, do yourself a favor and grab one off of Amazon while it's still retail. And once you get it in hands, you'll understand and appreciate why this is on my list. Alright, at number 7, I have Black Widow. This figure is a Walmart exclusive that was incredibly hard to find in our area. Our local store just received a case of this figure, and my good friend Justin was able to get one for me. So this release checks off a lot of boxes with some deadly accuracy. And let's look into it. So first off, it's sculpted by Mayshelf. Just look at the head portrait. It's beautifully detailed. While I don't care about the hair choice, she's beautiful. The design was inspired by Jim Lee's take on the character, and like the War Machine, which we're about to discuss, it comes with an insane amount of accessories, and for the price point of $20, the sheer value this figure brings is insane. At number 6, we have War Machine. Last year, Hasbro gave us the 80th anniversary Iron Man, and that was the top figure of the year for a lot of people in the community. This go around, Hasbro gave us the same beautiful design with premium paint applications and a ton of content and accessories that bring top-notch value to this figure. Even if you don't want the base figure by itself, the accessories alone justify them by themselves. At number 5, I have Fox's Deadpool. This is the only movie figure on my list, and Deadpool is a figure that's been released so many times. I tried to count and it gave me a headache. But what sets this apart from the rest is solely in the sculpt of this figure. It's sculpted by the artist Mayshelf, and there is so much detail put into this 6-inch figure, it's unreal. Coming with everything you can need, from katanas to desert eagles to a unicorn. The Amazon exclusive brings some of the best value out of any Deadpool release that has come out from Hasbro. And at number 4, we have Venompool. Sorry guys, without question, this is the Build-A-Figure of the year. I initially passed on it when it was announced, and then lo and behold, while scrolling through Instagram, I see a post by Mayshelf talking about all the work he put into it, and much like the first time I saw my wife at that moment, I just knew. If you haven't picked up on it yet, I'm a huge fan of Mayshelf, and I'll put a link to his Instagram in the description of this video, so you can check his work out and see what I mean. I can not sing the praises high enough of the quality that comes from that sculptor, and it shines through this figure. There are so many details packed into this Build-A-Figure that the only thing that sets it apart from a sideshow release is just the paint application. This is statue quality work in 6-inch scale. As a comic book collector, every once in a while there will be a figure release that will have me seeking out the character's first appearance. While this particular figure is based on the Marvel Contest of Champions game, if there was a book with this design's first appearance, I would have certainly grabbed it by now. At number 3, we have Red Hulk. And man oh man, like Iron Man last year, Hasbro gave us an 80th anniversary Hulk that was a massive scale with high articulation. And while this figure is a reprint of that 80th Hulk, it is a Target exclusive that includes the best head sculpt out of any Hulk we've had so far, an extra set of hands, and the price point is $30. You know, that brought an insane value for that figure. When this was released, it was really hard to find, and often reselling online at triple the MSRP. I've found myself on Target's website multiple times a day just waiting to find it in my area, and when I did, I was not disappointed at all. At number 2 for 2020 is going to be the Retro Spider-Man. And you know, what a year for Spider-Man fans, with the boost of Miles Morales, that new game, all the rumors of the upcoming Spider-Man movie, and also with Legend releases. We've seen so many iconic Spider-Man characters released this year that are certainly all great figures in their own right, but nothing comes close to this new Spider-Man. When it was first announced, everyone was excited for the bulkier, entirely new body that was closer to the animated series Spider-Man than the more slender pizza Spider-Man that we had been accustomed to. This new Spider-Man is amazing, from the range of motion, the paint, the articulation. This is bar none the best Spider-Man figure that has ever been released. Alright, and my number 1 pick for 2020 is Doctor Doom, hands down. That's right, the classic villain Doctor Doom is my number 1 for this year as well as all time. I've got another video breaking that down, and I'll put that in the description. But for $20, the value of this figure is undeniable. It has some of the best sculpting Hasbro has ever released, hands down. The face sculpt is wickedly beautiful. His armor is perfect with brown leather straps and chainmail details. He has a jetpack in the back of the figure. It's perfect. If you have not gotten him, I do suggest you get the fan channel exclusive that comes with a little bit brighter paint and a ton of accessories. It just gives more bang for your buck for such an exceptional figure. And if you have any friends that might start collecting the Legends line, but they're not sure where to start, point them here and let the madness begin. All right, so wow, that wraps up my list for 2020. I love this time. I love seeing everyone else's list and what their top picks and choices were for the year. So if you would, please leave a comment. Let me know which figures made your list. Send me a link to your list. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to drop a thumbs up and please subscribe because as this going forward into the new year, I'm looking very forward to new content that's going to be pushing out for figures and comic books. Hope everyone had a great Christmas and please stay safe out there, guys, because it's crazy. Love you. Peace.